Today on the Tim Marner podcast show, I've got Stephanie Smith from JJM Creative. What's the JJM stand for?
It's my son's name, the two J's. So he's called James Jacob, and it used to be called James J Marketing. So originally, when I first started the company, and I was thinking about names, I was like, don't overthink it. Go with what you think's best. And then J.K. Rowling was her name was because. Have you seen the documentary, the video?
No,
it's because they didn't think she would sell as many books if they knew she was a woman.
Right.
So I just thought, well, James is my reason for starting the business, and marketing is what we do. So says what it is on the tin, and then that was it. So
when did you start it?
So it was March 2020. So literally maybe a week after we went to COVID. But I was working part-time for a large recruitment company around the school hours because my son got on a transport to and from school, so I had to be there to get him on it, and then at home for when he got home, and then on a Friday I'd have every Friday off. So I started building up clients on the side, and then I got furloughed. So when I got furloughed, I was like, I don't sit still well. This is my time to, you go for it really. So I started doing online networking, and then it's just grown and grown and grown from there.
So just tell people what you do, what type of marketing that you do and stuff.
Yeah, so the way that I like to describe it is like a boutique digital marketing agency. So we're a small knit team. So I've got 2 account managers, which is Sue and Rebecca, and then we've got a content creator that we work with, which is George. We did have a graphic designer, which was James, but he unfortunately has left us, and he's gone to do photography now, so he doesn't even do design, which is where the relationship, obviously me reaching out to you, so for any branding projects. So in terms of services, we do anything from influence marketing, social media campaigns, marketing strategy. That's something we're being asked a lot for. In terms of marketing campaigns, that can include LinkedIn ads, Facebook ads, email marketing campaigns, a full suite of all the digital touch points into a campaign. And at the moment, I'm being asked to do a lot more marketing consultancy. So previous clients, and then people I'm meeting who have an in-house marketing manager or a marketing team, and they don't need an agency behind them, but they need my experience and my skill set. They'll just be like, Steph, can you come and do 1-2 days with us a month, which will be broken down into a couple of hours a week, and then I'll go and build the strategy and then deliver it, or just deliver the strategy and then say, see you later, enjoy. And that's going quite well because I'm actually really enjoying that a lot, to be honest. I'm getting so much satisfaction out of working with younger marketers who have struggled with things I've previously struggled with, and they're like, Steph, this feels just wrong. This is not what it should be like in a marketing agency or in a marketing business. And then I'm like, no, you're okay. You're not wrong, and it's normal to feel like this. So yeah, I'm enjoying that a lot, which is nice.
What got you into marketing in the first place?
So originally I worked for Johnston's Paints.
Yeah.
So I used to work for Johnston's Paints, and they had a marketing team, and I just started coming up with marketing ideas within the business, got to go to head office and then work a bit with the marketing team. And then I realised originally I wanted to be a teacher, and then when I had the twins I was like, no way, I'm not being a teacher, it's not happening. So I realised I had a love for business and then a real love for marketing. So I went to university, started doing a business degree, and then I changed in my second year to marketing because I was like, this is what I actually really enjoy, and I believe I'm good at it. So that's how it started.
Give me some examples of what you've been doing for people then that you can talk about. What's the type of things that you've been doing? Give me some examples, some stories.
Yeah, we recently worked on it's a new vitamin brand, and we were approached to basically collect over 200 influencers, so from nano to micro influencers. So we had to get in contact with all of the influencers. We had to do a digital profile on them, so we'd look at all of their social media channels, their YouTube channels. We'd check that all of their followers were legit, they'd not been bought, their engagement rates, and then we'd obviously compile all that information, get all the prices. So in terms of if you're working with an influencer, you need to find out what they're going to charge, like if it's going to go on YouTube and if it's going behind a paid campaign. So we did all of that, like research, put that all into like a nice like Google sheet and PDF and like with visuals and stuff, and then presented that to the client and gave our like recommendations of who we thought were the best ones. So we've worked on 2 campaigns recently with that. So we've just worked with one who is an online like tax firm. So this similar to like Tax Scout, called Penny Ledger. So just worked on one of those, and then the other one we worked on the Vitamin brand with, which was fun. We're working at the moment with like an IT company. So I'm working in consultancy and then also doing like the marketing side as well within the agency. We've actually like within the consultancy side of it, I was like, I think a podcast for you guys would be a differentiator for you, because no one in your industry is actually doing that. But cybersecurity is a massive topic. So if you know, I said, and the room they had was beautiful, like their like main like office room. So my recommendation is like, right, in terms of like, you know, this marketing strategy, let's embed that into it. So we're doing like a monthly podcast where we're getting guests on, the debunking any like IT myths and like, you know, what they're doing behind the scenes, for example. So we're doing a campaign for them at the moment that is called Behind the Screens. So like any IT company, you know, you're paying them a good retainer every month, but you're thinking, well, what am I paying them for? So what we're doing is storytelling with video content and with the podcast, and then across like, you know, like a blog and a newsletter. And then we'll probably do like a LinkedIn campaign behind that as well. Basically telling the story of like what the value is that their IT company is offering. And this particular company, like they like to make IT simple, and they're not afraid to be bold. They're not like just wanting to be like really professional and, you know, talk a load of jargon. They want to like debunk the myths of IT and make it simple. So that's been like really enjoyable, and the culture of the company is lovely. Like they've just had a rounders game recently, and because I'm like consultancy side of it, like I just feel like I'm, you know, a member of the team, and that's something that's really important to us as a business, is working with like really good companies and people. I was telling Betty before, I was like, we don't work with knobheads. Like we've worked with them in the past, and I'll walk away every single time. I'll do it in a really lovely way, like I'll never burn bridges, but at the same time, like if it's stealing my piece and if it's like coming to a level of disrespect, I'm out. I'm happy to say like, I wish you well, like, but we can't continue servicing this. Or like, if you want us to, we're going to have to increase your monthly retainer by 20%. So, you know, it's one of those catch-22 things when you're in business and making those difficult decisions. But yeah.
The LinkedIn stuff that you've been doing, how's that been going? I've never really ventured into the LinkedIn advertising and stuff. Is it good for people?
LinkedIn is really good if you have a long-term goal and a strategy behind it, but it's not cheap.
Right.
And that's the thing. And also like most business owners, they want money in the bank. So as much as like we could do a lead gen campaign for them or like a thought leader piece, but as soon as you say to any business owner, we'll run a thought leader piece, like, well, what's that? So we have to like tell them, well, it's basically we're going to turn you, because you already are like a thought leader within your industry, we're going to work with all the content, and then we'll put a sponsored ad behind your personal profile. So it's not the company profile, it's their own personal profile. And then we'll have to A/B test different like contents. We'll have to A/B test different like forms of the ad as well. So it could be like a lead magnet, it could be like a link to the website to go to like a free webinar. But all of that, as you know, will take a lot of time, a lot of preparation, and then money. So like, you know, if you're going to run a good, decent LinkedIn campaign, you're going to be looking at spending like the best part of like £1,200 a month to get any form of return and high quality leads. But then also you've got to be doing that for at least 6 months. So it's not a quick win. And when you talk to small business owners who don't necessarily understand it, it's you know, you really have to make sure that you're getting that messaging across to know what they're getting into. But you know, they can be really powerful if they're done right. So
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? I mean, obviously you go down more sort of the personal branding route, don't you, with the LinkedIn when you're doing the campaigns and stuff. And are people up for doing that as well is another thing, isn't it? Putting their face right to the front of it.
It's really difficult with marketing, as you will find, is like they'll have like if they have a budget, because 9 times out of 10 they don't have a budget. They just know they need to do some form of marketing. Nowadays it's like digital, like that's pretty much across the board, isn't it? Like outdoor advertising is like not normally anything like a small to medium enterprise will touch, especially if it's B2B. If you know, B2C is different. So I think if they've got a budget, or if they don't, and you're saying, right, well, to do LinkedIn advertising, that's going to cost 1,200 quid, and that's just your ad spend with LinkedIn. That's not even touching our management fee. And then if you come in as a client with us, like you're looking at $3,500 a month. So you know, when they're adding up, and they're like, and then at the end they're saying, well, what we're gonna get from that? You're saying, well, you'll get, you know, so many impressions, you'll get brand awareness, you'll get this. So what I'm really good at is making sure like I know what their objective is, and I'm very clear with all our clients of like, tell me your objective, and then I'll tell you if we can achieve that for you, and if not, then I'll introduce you to the people that I think can. Or it could be a very fine line where it's sales. So they need like an introduction to somebody who's going to generate them sales, but the marketing will then support that sales effort. And that's like the key, like kind of recipe we're finding works really well, is building the infrastructure in the marketing messaging and like the socials and everything that will then feed into the sales team. So yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, of course it does. I'm just hoping it made sense to everybody else listening. When it comes to people approaching you then, are more people approaching you, look, I mean, how many people really say, look, I want to sort of grow my personal brand or my brand, where everybody's more like, I need more sales and more leads. But did you ever get this side of, I just want to grow my personal brand and it's...
We've worked with Rick Moylan, which was like more of like a personal brand. Shout out to Rick. Like, he's incredible. We absolutely love Rick. And I'm sure he won't mind me saying it either. So we did work with him, like in terms of like the personal brand side of it. We mainly work with B2B businesses. It's never been a choice. Like, I don't know if you found this, or like probably most small to medium business owners find this, is like, I've thought about niching. It's not something I want to do. I get bored very, very quickly. So the idea of like going like into a niche, no, thank you, I don't want to do it. So like mainly it's B2B businesses that we tend to work with. Social media is such a high demand thing that we get asked for. But in terms of like the IT client I was telling you about, that is like the podcast is a personal brand, because we are saying one of the MDs is going to be the face of it, and he wants to be the face of it. He's happy to do it. He's actually really, really excited. He wanted to convert his basement into a podcast studio. He was that excited. So that's like, you know, really good to know that he's happy to be the head of it. But
I mean, I'm telling everybody, like, personal brand is the best content funnel you can ever have.
Well, you told me that, didn't you?
The best content funnel that you can ever have.
Exactly.
So people just need to sort of like just get over themselves, like whatever they need to do to get past that.
I know.
You know.
But that's difficult though, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I had that conversation with you, didn't I? Like,
Loads of people.
I mean, I was like looking at it in my diary. I thought it was next week for some reason, and then I saw it. I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going. It's like, I'm not doing it. And then I was like, Stephanie, just suck it up and do it. And if I don't like what I say, so be it. Like, hopefully what I say is worth being here for.
It's just, I mean, you know, hopefully, you know, you'll get some work from this, but like, we're just in service to other people, this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, I want people to listen to this and maybe rethink the marketing. You know, maybe I'll give LinkedIn a go. Maybe I should, you know, up my personal brand and whatever I need to do to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys run Facebook ads as well, don't you? And that's something else that we do.
Yeah.
We're finding, like, with Facebook ads, like, it's all about the ad creative. So you have to go in heavy. You can still have like quite a small budget. When I say small, I'm talking like £10 a day, like minimum. But it's all down to your targeting and your ad creative. Like, you need to make sure that you're A/B testing multiple different versions of ad creative to hit like those. You get, is it 3-4 seconds to get someone's attention?
Yeah, that hook.
So to get that hook, So as much as like ads are great within the business for us and for our clients, it still has to be built into a bigger marketing strategy. And then
part of it.
It's just part of it. Yeah.
So you run other people's social media for you?
We do.
And how well do you do that on as terms of understanding that person as a brand if they've not got the brand locked, or are you working with what they've just given you?
So we've worked with companies that like have like no brand guidelines, they have no image library or anything.
When you do that, what do you end up doing then?
I think we're great at this, to be honest. Do you know Mike Kosh? You know, you don't know Mike? I'm sure Mike would have been on here. He knows Ojo. Right. But Mike, he came to us with a brand and they had logo, but they had nothing else that went with it. So we were very good. Basically, it's managing your estate online. So okay. Like your will and like everything like that goes with it. So like, you know, so if you were to die, it would have like your will on there. It would have like everything, like your social media logins, all online. So it was a great concept that they came up with.
Yeah, it's a good concept.
Yeah, great concept. Yeah. So we did all of the ad campaigns with it, and then we just worked like using like stock images. We like looked at their logo, all of their colour palettes and everything, and then we built like a campaign and a story around the services that they offer and the solution basically that they're providing. So as you know, like it's more, instead of saying this is what we do, it's triggering the question of what the solution is that their service is fixing. So we would turn the campaign and all the socials into stories, emotional, and we'd use like video content and stuff. So we had to be really creative and like, you know, use like high quality stock images and stock videos. We did say, like at the very beginning when we pitched for it, we're like, we need to do a video shoot, we need to get, you know, some testimonials from people who've worked with you. It's similar to, I'm not sure if they're called Polly, but they worked with influencers. I think they're life insurance, and they worked with influencers who talked about what would happen to your family if you died tomorrow. So that example like popped up in my head, and I was like, you know, that campaign worked really well. It's like the Heights vitamins, like they've worked with multiple influencers. That's going to drive so many sales because they've got influencers behind them. They're putting it on the influencers' socials, which has got, you know, 1 million followers. Those kind of campaigns do work really well because they've got engagement with those influencers. But that does cost a lot of money as well. But yeah, in terms of like,
how much are you talking, sort of? Give me an example of an influencer campaign. What are you looking at?
For an it depends on how many influencers you're going to work with, but normally just give me one. Give me one example. You need a budget of like 50 grand,
right,
to work with a number of good influencers and to get the results that you're looking at.
Right.
Because one influencer could cost 4 grand for one post without publishing rights to do it on a paid campaign. So when you add all of that up, and then you'd put it behind a, you know, paid advert, you're looking at about 40 grand to get it going. I mean, even like a YouTube channel, I think we got quoted 10 grand for one person. I won't mention who it was. But yeah, it was 10 grand for an advert at the beginning of the YouTube channel. Which was making me think I'm in the wrong industry. I want to get on that. 10 grand for half an hour? Like, yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I didn't know the prices. Like, obviously you've got your micro influencers going right up to, but even the micro influencers now are charging that sort of amount of money, are they?
Yeah.
4 grand a post.
Not the so it depends on their following, and it depends on the level of engagement of like who you're talking about, and also how long they've been doing it for, and if they've got multiple channels as well. We've worked with a really lovely lady, and she was probably about £350 for like one reel on her Instagram account. So there is them out there, but something like I'm very mindful of when I do any form of campaign like that is the return of the investment with the client, because if that influencer's doing like a video or a reel, we need to get a code on there. We need to look at the analytics to the traffic that's going back to that website and see the touch points, because otherwise we're just wasting the money. And then also negotiations, like that takes a lot of time negotiating. It's kind of fine art, really, something that I'm quite good at, I do believe, and I will back myself on it. And actually noting back, so when we'd worked with a couple of these influencers, we'd worked with them a couple of years ago, and I had the master document to see what they were offering and what they were charging. And then when we reflected back on it, they were they were basically like wanting to charge like 5 times the amount, and we were like, well, we're, you know, previous client, you've worked with us before, we've got more work that we can send your way, can you, you know, work with us within our budget and you know, go with it and stuff. And normally, like, I think when you're nice and you're reasonable, like, they will work with you on your budget. But when they have a massive following and they don't really need, you know, the work, that they will never budge, and they'll have you know, managers who'll sort that all out for them.
What sort of advice would you be giving people on marketing? Like somebody starting up for the first time, Steph.
Yeah.
What would your first advice be to people for? So
if they're just going into marketing or starting a business.
Starting a business.
Yeah. If they're just starting the business and it's just them on their own, and they're thinking about the marketing side of it, I would say make a realistic commitment. So don't say to yourself, I'm going to do a social post every single week. Find a scheduling tool that works for you. Hootsuite's a great one, Later's a great one, Buffer's a great one, that you can get free versions of them, and you can schedule across all of your social media channels on those platforms, those scheduling tools, and make it enjoyable for yourself. So either do a content day where you can get 12 posts, for example, like a video content, and schedule it out, and then it's done. So
how much would a content day usually cost somebody for them to... Should we do an example, make it a bit easier for us? So let's say somebody just opened up a baker's, doing all these amazing cakes and stuff like that. So this person's called Alice. So Alice bakes.
Yeah.
So what
some sourdough.
What would you say to her then? You'd say, make sure you do a realistic commitment.
Yeah.
Do a content day. How much would that content day cost, Alice?
So like, if she was to do a content day with us, and we were to provide like all of the content, so like all the footage and the photos and everything, you're looking at about like £800 for us to do the content day with her.
How long would that content day?
About 4 hours.
Right.
Yeah. But I think one great thing about us is like, we're not like, right, it's been 4 hours, we're off.
Yeah.
We make sure we get what we need within that day, and obviously a lot of planning will go into that, where we'll have scripts, we'll have a rundown of everything that we need to make sure we're going to get hold of, and then the creative element will come into it, where it's like, actually, do you know what, this is trending, so we're going to get you doing, like the sipping thing with the water, like everyone's like, in a meeting drinking water out of whatever, we're going to jump on that trend, and we're going to get that footage out. What we'd recommend if she was doing it herself, for her to get that out straight away. But yeah, so like, and content days are really fun. Like, we do them with retained clients, we do them once a month actually with our clients at the moment. So we have like the Meta glasses, we have like professional like cameras, videos, everything. So we'll go into a client's office, or we'll go on site. So if they've got, like an install, or if they've got like, we work with a bifold company, if they've got like, some like beautiful bifolds being like installed in a gorgeous house, we'll go on site, and we'll like get all of that footage for them. That could go into an ad campaign as well as on the socials. But yeah, as much content as possible, and if they're just starting out, be realistic, because doing one post a week is better than saying I'm going to do one a day, and then they don't do any for months on end. So be really realistic in terms of the marketing, and like, marketing is also networking. That is a really big part of getting out there and marketing yourself, but knowing the messaging that you're going to be putting out there as well is part of the marketing, and then having like the branding and all of the collateral that goes with that, builds on that story. I mean, I went to a networking event, and it was a party. It was a 7-year party. It should have been a 5-year celebration party for a large law firm, and I went with one intention, to like congratulate them, and also to work the room. I was like, I'm getting in that room, and I'm gonna like introduce myself to as many people as I can. And I left with like the biggest smile on my face, because a couple of people, when I was like, tell me about you, and they were like, oh, where are you from? I was like, oh, JJM. And they were like, I know your brand. And they were like, oh yeah, I follow you on LinkedIn, I follow you on Instagram. And they like got it up and showed the logo, and I was like, it's working. Like, the branding's getting across, like the networking's working. All of like every touch point of marketing is like starting to pay off, where people are saying, oh yeah, I know who you are, because that takes time. Doesn't happen overnight, does it? Yeah.
No. So Alice could do for 800 quid, she could have a shoot every month.
Yeah.
And then look, if she's getting really annoyed with like posting the social media, you can also take that over for her as well.
Yeah.
On a sort of like 800 quid shoot for the month, would that content just last for that month then?
No, so we would that would last for at least like 4 months.
Right,
we
okay.
would hope, depend on how much we got within that day.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like a bakery, like, you know, does she have like big ovens that we can, you know, shoot?
Yeah, she has big ovens.
How many like different locations within that, you know, within that space without it getting boring? Because we don't want it just to be a picture of her like taking a loaf out of the oven. We want to make sure that it is engaging content as well. But yeah, so we would like get about 4 months worth of content on that one shoot, and then she's also got like you know, an image library there that she can use across, you know, print materials or a website. So it's not just the social media side of it. It's an investment in a library of her bakery. So yeah.
What do you love the most about like what you do then? I know you said you like the consultancy, but like what is the actual thing that keeps you going? Like what's the thing? I
think like happy clients like makes me like ultimately like so happy, because that obviously like is just a given. The pitch, I love a pitch. Yeah, I do. I thrive off it. I don't know why. But when I go and I talk to, you know, get the opportunity, so like yesterday, for example, so I went to a networking event, met this lovely lady, and I was just myself. Like, I'm very, very transparent, wear my heart on my sleeve. So we're chatting away, you know, like at this lovely like round table like meal, and she emailed me on Monday and said we want to look at social media and want to look at a new website. So we had a call, and I just loved talking to her about her business, like the struggles that she's had, like the previous marketing that they've tried to do, and I'm just like I'm just dead honest with her about like, you know, what I think we can achieve with her and what we can do, and you know, to help like their objective. But I just get such a buzz for it. Like I know what I'm talking about, which, you know, I think helps. And I'm a people's person as well. So like when you just gel with somebody, and she also said, it's something I don't like asking about is budget. Like I'm not a big budget, like what's your budget person? But which I'm trying to like move away from, because obviously you can produce, you know, a website for 10 grand, you could produce one for 2 grand, and they'll still, you know, have the same functionality, but one will be obviously a lot more better in terms of design and, you know, probably speed than the other one. But she was like, the budget's not an issue here, but she said it's how we gel and like with the agency, because she's approaching a couple. And I would be quite confident that we will win that, to be honest. Like once I do the pitch and the proposal, send it across with the prices, because we're not greedy either. That's like another thing that I think I'm very passionate about, is because we work with small to medium enterprises, like we know they're not big corporates. We don't want to work with big corporates. There's too many red tape, too many approval processes. Bores the hell out of me doing that. So I want to work with like small to medium businesses where I feel their, you know, pain points in marketing, and then we just debunk those myths and deliver like the services they want. And we'll get clients that, you know, say, oh Steph, we've got an exhibition coming up. Can you do a smart work for it? And depending on how long it's going to take us to do it, we'll just be like, you know what, yeah, it's fine. Like we've actually got previous artwork that you had from a couple of years ago. We'll just refresh it for you and send it you over. And we won't charge any extra for that, which is probably a bad business decision. But I'm thinking more about the client, the longevity of that client and the value that they will see in that, instead of us saying, oh, we want an amend on our website. And it's like, yeah, well, it's it's an extra 300 quid if you want to amend that. We're just, you know,
there's a lot of that.
You just work it out, don't you, in how worth it is to be like, well, actually, no, that's going to cost you an extra £500 when it only took us an hour. So it's,
yeah, I'm like that on them.
Yeah.
What are some of the sort of marketing sort of like myths and stuff like that you come across? Because people, you know, obviously give it the big words and stuff in marketing, but what are some of the things that you're coming across where you think people are just overcomplicating it and it's not helping the small business owner?
I think SEO is like one of the biggest like services that business owners don't understand. And
because I see it with a lot of our clients.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, mate, but
No, go for it.
they ring up and they tell our clients, look, we can get you to the top of Google.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's it. Got them. Pinpoint.
Yeah.
They've always wanted to be at the top of Google, seen the name
Yeah.
in, what's it? Got you. Next thing you know, they're paying a contract for 12 months in it.
And that's it with SEO. You're in it for 12 months. It's a minimum, like, if you're going with a good agency, you're talking 1,200 quid a month, aren't you?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of content that goes into that. But my main concern, and I believe in SEO, I definitely don't think, it's a dying art. I just believe that AI is, like, impending on that so much. Yeah. And again, it goes back down to that budget. If you've got 1,200 quid a month that you're going to put into SEO, but you're not going to see any results for 6 months, and what are those results going to look like? Then you're thinking, well, actually, you know what, we're going to do, a social media campaign. We're going to put it behind LinkedIn and Facebook, and then we're going to get actual leads out of it at the end of it that we can use and then retarget. It's all down to that customer. But yeah, SEO is definitely like a tricky one that a lot of our clients don't see the value in, and that's not a service that we offer in-house. Like, we work with partners that we would like recommend and that we trust. What else in terms
I think they just hide behind it, don't they? They say, I can get, hello, Mrs. Smith, I've just seen there, you've only got 5 reviews and stuff. How do you feel about, or Alice, how do you feel about getting to the top of Google?
Yeah.
And with the right SEO and the money behind it, you can get to the top of Google. Yeah. But no, Alice hasn't got that budget to do that. And it's going to take a hell of a long time. So they're not lying, but they're misleading.
Yeah.
Aren't they? And that's what really pisses me off with people, because they'll sign up straight away because they got that scarcity mindset. It does me, honestly, it does my head in.
Do you know what? It's like PR. Yeah. Like, and I honestly hesitate to say it because I do know people in PR and I know companies in SEO, and I know
Bolton's in both.
I think they're great people and
I think there's
great
more
companies.
I think there's more shysters than there are great ones.
As a business owner, like, when I spoke to a person recently who owns a PR agency, and he was showing me the analytics behind like a piece of work and stuff, I sat there and I was like, I'm not buying into it. So I could never put it in front of my clients, because it's just like impressions, or like touch points of like how many people have like supposedly read it, but like, I don't know about you, Tim.
Supposedly read it.
I don't really read like articles that much. I'm a massive reader, like in terms of like books on my Kindle. I'm a massive like podcast listener when I'm walking my dog. But articles, unless like there's something that I'm really interested in, I'm like shiny new, like attention span gone. Yeah, I'm done. So in terms of the PR, again, you've got to spend a lot of money to get in front of the right people. And even then, like, are these people going to take action just from reading your article? And that's just one article. So for me, PR is one of those corporate services that I think really works well for, big companies. Small to medium enterprises, not so much, but I feel like I'm going to get backlash from saying that. It will.
I'm just like me. I'm just a fucking personal brand.
Yeah.
Just like,
Well, you're doing amazing at it, and I'm trying to do better at it.
Yeah. It's a commitment. It's a huge
commitment.
And, if you do really want to do it, like, you can take you to dark places. You've got to really ask yourself some brutal questions to truly turn up authentically.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the thing.
And obviously, you've got 3 kids, you've got the full thing, but to do that as well as that.
Well, last time I was here, I think I just made my Instagram public, and now I've already made it private again, because I'm like, nope. And that's probably the 3rd time I've done that, where I'm like, no, I go so extroverted and then introverted. I remember shutting my curtains in my living room a couple of years ago and going, goodbye world, like, I'm hiding from the world now, because this is what I do. And I'm trying really hard. I said it to my friend the other day. I was like, I'm ready. Like, I want to go into hibernation again. I don't want to network. I don't want to see people, which is such a rabbit hole for me. But then obviously when you run a business, like, you can't do that with clients. You still have to like show up, obviously. But in terms of like the personal branding side of it, that is a choice.
I mean, it's just hard. You can still do it without selling your soul.
True.
True.
That's
People need to understand that. It's like I feel that everybody in the world should be in service to other people. Like I said, this is what this podcast is about.
Absolutely.
And if I'm in service to other people, then I need to show up on social media and share what I think. If my choice, just sack it off probably. If I look at it and I'm like, you know, I just want to be the hills walking and all that, but I'm like, no, everybody's here to be in service of each other.
Do you know, it's so funny. So when I was away, it was when I took the kids to Cape Verde for a week, which like, for me, I'm really proud of, because when I was with my ex-husband, we couldn't afford to take the kids on holiday, and now I'm doing it on my own. So, you know, again, I'm like,
it's a big thing,
that's a big thank you. I think it is. Like, the kids don't necessarily realise it, but, you know, not just paying for it, but going on my own. Like, some of my friends, like, I don't know how you did that. Like, took them away on your own. Like, but...
Well, you got 2 12s and a 16.
Two 12s and a 16, yeah. Love them to pieces. So my 16-year-old's just come on as an apprentice as well, which, like I've said to her, you've got one chance and one chance only, otherwise you're out. Like, I'm not... That's going to be tough. I'm not sugarcoating it with her, but she worked with me yesterday and she was absolutely brilliant. Amazing. So I think she's got it. But yeah, so so when I was away in Cape Verde, I was posting pictures of me and the kids, and I got a message from a childhood friend, family friend, and she's got twins, and she just, out of nowhere, and she just said, Steph, she said, your content, she said, it has got me through. She was like, you're so inspiring. She was like, me and I said, like, oh, how are things with your husband? Like, because I knew I'd not seen him on her story stuff. She was like, oh no, we've separated. I'm really going through a tough time. And she was like, I've been wanting to reach out for you for a while. And I was just like, that for me was like, that is heaven. Like, my heart was just so full and grateful, because I was just like, it's so hard, and my Instagram 9 times out of 10, but recently I had opened up on my Instagram about struggles. Like, I was struggling like with the fact that the kid's dad hadn't seen them, and I was like needing some time to myself, where I was just like, this is hard. And like, my son refuses to go to school because he's got extra additional needs. No one's there like helping me get him out of bed and trying and get him to school, and he's like taller than me. He's a big rugby little lad for 12. No one's helping me do that. So when she was like, your stories really inspire me, like, you're such an amazing mum, I was just like, incredible. And then another it's like a mum from school, primary school, when the kids were at primary school, she reached out and she was like, I'm thinking of leaving my job and starting a business. Wow. Can I have a coffee with you? Beautiful, and just get stuff. That's what it's about. Honestly, like, that's what it's about. So like, we ended up going for a dog walk, and I was like, it was off Rick Moylan. I was like, you need a deadline mindset on what you need to do. So I said, like, you're in a job now. She told me like how she jumped from job to job. And I said, you're going to carry on jumping from job to job and giving yourself excuses, in my opinion. You need a deadline mindset in the next 3 months, what you're going to do to get you to your goal of where you want to start this business, whether it be, I think it was like therapy that she wanted to get into. So, she came away and she was obviously like really inspired. But again, like, the fact she trusted my judgment and reached out, I was like, interesting. Well, that's a personal brand yourself for yourself. You're just not doing enough of it, are you? I know. Pretty much. Yeah. I think it's just hard when like you go through wobbles in life, and like, I've had a recent wobble. I just think, I'm just getting off it. Like, I don't want people to have an insight into me or my life. Like, I'm just gonna, just be with my kids, run the business to the best of my ability with the time that I have, and carry on. But it's you're in service stuff. I know. You're right. I know. No, I like that. It's not about me. It's not about you. I like it. It's about other people. Like you've already had 2 examples there. Yeah. Beautiful. I know. Isn't it? Yeah, really. For me, that's you don't get much better than, for me, that's branding. That's I know, like, when other people are talking about you. It was so lovely. Like, when they both reached out, and I'm still like talking to like them both as well. Asking like how are things going, and my heart, honestly, like, they're talking about you behind your back, saying how amazing you are and stuff. For me, that's what a brand is. It's reputation, what other people are saying about you. Yeah. It's nothing. You're not in control of it. I'm not in control of it. It's what other people are saying. Yeah. And if they're saying you're lovely, you're inspiring and stuff like, then your brand's locked. Yeah. Yeah. Because that's how you'd want to be known. I think also, like, I was saying it to Betty, like, there's another side of it. So like, I will post like David Lloyd going to the gym and stuff like that. And then I'd get comments like, oh, you're always at the gym. Oh, she's probably been at the gym today, probably been by the pool or something. So then when I started opening up and sharing like my struggles, which I don't like to do, I don't like a violin, woe me, like, oh, poor me, like the victim mindset. It's not who I am at all. Like, I do not like asking for help. Like, it's the last thing I want to do is I can ask my parents for help. Like, my mum will help me no matter what. Like, but I then started opening up about my struggles because I just thought, you know what, like, I'm going to be genuine. But then it is so difficult, those opinions of other people, like, not having a negative impact on you. And I was saying to one of my best friends, I was like, I don't know if I'm strong enough to put myself out there in service, as you say, and not be affected by the negativity of people's comments or thoughts.
This is what I was saying to you about when you do the personal branding journey. You know, you've got to go back to the darkness and see why that's affecting you in order for you to be all right with that being triggered, not, you know, letting it affect you emotionally, and so you can sort of manage your emotions on that level. That's what personal branding is all about.
I think also as well, like, if I'm being really transparent and honest, it is like that voice of my ex-husband in my head, like, nobody likes you. Like, you know, and that fear of failing and falling flat on your face. But I've been to the depths of, you know, hell, in my opinion, pretty near to it, that, you know, you're right. Like, I think I do. Like, last time we spoke, I felt so inspired. Like, right, I need to get back on this and do it.
He's almost won in a way then, mate, if you don't show up.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you've just got something within you that people, you can help a lot of people just by, you know, you've got the intention in your head is that, look, I don't want to be a victim. Forget about all that. It's like you're in service with people. The intention is to let other people know they're not alone in this.
That's so true.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that is absolutely
And if that's the case, then you give yourself permission to do the videos.
And that is my heart and my personality, because like if I see a woman who's wearing something and she looks absolutely amazing, I would tell her, like, I'm such a feminist there. And my heart is like, I'd love like to start like a non-for-profit, like, for single mums who are, you know, stuck in the rat race of, like, you know, a part-time job, and they've not got that support.
Crazy, mate.
And they don't know how to like set themselves free and, you know, make a better life for them and their children like that.
You can do that right now, though,
that
by
is my
posting
heart.
on Instagram,
like, honestly,
and
I know.
By sharing that already.
I think, like, right now, like, I'm trying to I'm like a swan. I'm like just trying to keep my head above water. And like last year and the year before, I was in a really, really shit place. Like, I was like pretty much depressed, overweight. I've lost 2 stone since January. Not my best self. Like, it's not that it's about weight, it's about how you feel in your body, isn't it? So I said 2025 is my year, and then I've gotten to like a certain point where I've had a couple of things pulled, like the rug's been pulled like out from under me. So then I go into myself, a bit woe me and stuff. And I think that's the really hard thing of being single as well. It's like, you know, there's nobody there to say, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. Right, just shake it off and carry on. And when I'm on my own there with 3 kids, and I'm the one who's like leading us as a family, like consistently all the time, and then a business, I have to pick like what I can achieve right now. And I have said 2025 is my year. I've kind of lost my belief in that recently, but you're instilling it back in me, Tim, so thank you for that. I appreciate that.
How do you sort of like manage that, being a mum of 3 and business and stuff? Do you give kindness to yourself?
Huge. Yeah, huge. So
because it's got to be brutal, that, mate. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't empathise with you, like, truly understand what you go through.
Appreciate it,
but
you know, it's become normal. That's the strangest like thing ever, and the only way I can describe it now is my reality is not normal. And to me now, I've been doing it for so long that it is very normal. But I fill up my cup first, so I make sure, like, in every part of the day I do something for me, so that then I can then pour back into them and not burn out, because I've burnt out like previously in the past and gotten into really bad habits that do not deliver in my life at all. And I'm very routine and very structured, and if I want to be disciplined, which I think I am very disciplined in my life, I'll always make sure, like, I do some form of, like, I'll walk my dog every morning. As soon as kids are at school, go walk my dog. I'll go to a gym class most days. My clients all know this because like I'm just very transparent in that way. And then I'll pour back into the kids. But my routine it is beautiful, and it's purely based on hard, work and graft on my own account, because as much as I can get up and my day is my own, as a business owner, you never switch off. There's other like stresses that we carry constantly, like every minute of every day. And like when I was away on holiday in Wales with my family, with my mum and my sister as well, and like I had a client meeting with a great client, and I knew it would probably go well, but I'd not spoken to them for 2 weeks because I was away and they were away for a week back to back. And the anxiety of that call, like I was just worried about going into it. The contract was up for renewal and there was all these things in my head, and then I got on the call and it was great and this weight had lifted. But like, today, like I get to go to I've done a dog walk, go to the gym, I get to come here, have a great day, I'll check in with clients later, and then I'll be home at 3 o'clock to see to the children. And then I'll carry on working like after 6 o'clock because I love doing that. My brain functions better when nobody needs me. My phone's not going off, emails aren't going off. I can look at like any of the work that's been done by the staff, approve it, make sure everything's happy, schedule a load of emails for the morning when I'm in the gym. That works for me, and that is a beautiful thing that I've created for me and for my children. But it can be lonely. It can, and with the children, like it is a lot. And I am not the best. I'm the worst parent at keeping track of, parents' evenings and, reports and all that kind of stuff. But I'm okay with that. Like I'm doing my best. And that's all the kids need to know. Whether they believe me or not, Ella will not believe that I'm doing my best sometimes. But she's like me. She's just an absolute diva, and I love her for it. She's just so feisty and loves an argument and getting a point across. But I would rather her have a voice than not. Just really difficult to parent. So yeah. So
what's next for a JJM Creative then? What have you got coming up?
So we've just pitched for like a large tender. So like fingers crossed we'll get that with a local council, which will be great because it was painful writing it. Well, I didn't write it, but like we worked with an incredible tender writer. So if anybody wants to shout out like to somebody, I can introduce them. So hopefully we'll get that because it was like a 96-page document and it kept me up many nights.
It's
like
not for me, that.
Say again.
It's not for me, that.
No, it's not for you, yeah. And then potentially the personal branding, we'll see. I'm not huge on the growth side of the business right now. Love working with small to medium enterprises. The social media is something that we really are pushing because we're working with a fantastic content creator. So having George now on the team has like given us like the skill set to be able to promote that and push that more with the capabilities that he has. And yeah, just hopefully continue to work with really good people because that's. Like...
And where can people find you then? If they want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
So find me on LinkedIn, Stephanie Smith, and there's like a star in it. Or they can go to the website. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook, but it's quite.
What is the website? JJM Creative.
JJ.co.uk.
Right, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Steph.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening, everybody. Goodbye.
Tim Marner, what? You're branding with the best Tim Marner.